Welcome to the Neverworld podcast, where together we explore the strange and unusual. Every journey starts with the first step into the unknown.
Hey, welcome to Neverworld podcast. I'm Scott with Dave, and we are recapping episode 13 of Skinwalker Ranch. This is half an episode, actually, because it ends with a nice to be continued. I'm just going to start and get the elephant out of the room. I think the timing of this episode was done on purpose to coincide with the congressional hearings. And you and I were talking a little bit about the hearings, and we're going to start the first part of the podcast and talk a little bit about that.
You watch more of the hearings than I did.
I watched almost the whole thing. I watched over an hour of it. And I will get this out of the way. Correct. There was no proof shown. There was not going to be, but this was done to finally get this on the congressional record, to show that the government is actually putting this into the records and people are coming forward and speaking. That's kind of a big deal to finally get that on there. Baby steps. Government moves like a fucking glacier. So it's right. I think that was the main thing. I see a lot of people talking today, very disappointed that nothing was shown. It's like, did you really expect them to march out some little green men and a lizard person? It would have been nice.
The way that they were making it sound was, we've got the smoking gun, and we're going to pull those we're going to have a freaking alien sitting there.
It would be awesome.
Which would have been fine, but nobody would have believed it.
Well, that's just it. And that goes into a lot of the misinformation campaigns.
Well, exactly. What I saw was just very much the same. There was a guy, I don't remember his name, but basically the question that I heard, that I was hearing was, you personally saw UFOs? Yes. We have these in a warehouse? Yes. Can you prove it? Nope. You personally saw aliens? Yes. Are any still alive among us? Yes. Can you prove it? Nope. Well, where are they? Well, I can't tell you where they're at because they'll be killed. It was all very much the exact same rhetoric. A psyop, and I think this is
true. Well, look at who these guys are. However, I think there was more said by the non-answers than the actual answers. The answers that he had responded to, I think it was AOC had asked, "Where can I look? Point me in the direction." And he's like, "I can tell you that, but not in front of this hearing."
Right.
And then the Navy commander said the same thing. He said, "Talk to him. They were all sitting there, and because of the protocols and security stuff, they can't say something in a public forum like that." Right. But and I want to believe that they were telling the truth, that like, yes, we will tell you guys everything after the meeting's over. We will share this. We'll talk about he talked about the defense corporations. He didn't give names of who have the technology and who are selling it back to the government. Yeah.
Lockheed Martin.
Raytheon, on and on and on. Boeing, we just keep on going. So all of them.
See, and that's where I look at these things and I'm like, okay, you're willing to talk, but you're not willing to talk. And you're never going to go on record. If you're not going to go on record and swear on a Bible or swear on a Quran or swear on whatever holy relic that you find most dear to your heart, then anything you're going to tell me is a lie.
And I get that. I just look at least we finally got something in Congress. And it's very telling how the news media buried everything. So.
Well, we see. Here's the thing. The thing that I was most interested in, it seems like that this is from my point of view. You may have a different point of view. Mm-hmm. Let's just say somebody's son is in a lot of trouble. Not naming names. Somebody's son is in a lot of trouble. And it seemed like the news media took these hearings and posted that out. And was like, here, look at this. Look at this. Don't look at this other thing. Look at this. But I wasn't looking at that. I was specifically digging for the other.
I've heard that argument. I've heard that argument. I think it's complete BS.
Yeah, you think so?
I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, my God. I don't give a shit about somebody's son. I didn't give a shit about the other somebody's sons. I mean, for fuck's sake, I don't think everything is well, almost. I don't think everything is okay. I think a great deal of shit is a conspiracy. Okay,
I know
never
what you
mind,
mean.
Dave.
I
Carry
know
on.
I know
I
what
just
you mean
think
because I'm just about ready to bite my, but I got to bite my tongue because this isn't the show.
right.
This isn't the episode for that
No,
conversation.
and it's not, and I think it's irrelevant. And I believe a lot of that. Um, let's just say a lot of news stories come out to distract,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to take away from something's going on. I have no doubt that that happens and happens in every single
Right.
administration.
Well, it happens all the time, especially whenever
Exactly.
they don't want you to look at something else. We
I
just passed a
think,
really shitty law. Look at the pretty bird. Look at the
yeah,
bird.
that
Kind of
comes
thing.
out on a
You
Friday
know.
afternoon, and there it is. You know,
Mhm.
it lost to, but I didn't see anything. I sure as hell didn't see anybody promoting this story this morning. It's
No,
like
it's gone.
gone.
It's
It's
gone.
gone because
Which makes me
this
think.
is, well, a reason they had this is because they knew how this is how the people are going to look.
Mhm.
You looked at it, nothing. People are like, nothing. It's like, guys, there may not have been actual proof, but if you go out there, there is actual proof. Somebody's telling the damn truth.
But
You know?
unlike so many other people, I will return to this.
Yes.
I'll look at this again, and I will
Hmm.
continue to look at this, and I will pick it apart
Correct.
at some point because that's just how I am.
Right.
And you and I are the worst type of people to go pick at stuff
Right.
because we keep picking.
Because we don't
And
believe the burden of proof is high. And it's, I mean, I
exactly.
believe, but to completely convince me, I mean, I am going to have to see it for the
Yeah.
most part.
A
But
lot of things are falling in line with what Greer says. A
yes,
lot.
and that's
Like
what
that
scares me.
this whole congressional hearing was he said what was going to happen.
Yeah. And as you had texted me, here comes the invasion.
Yeah, next the invasion.
Yep.
And folks don't believe the freaking invasion. They're gonna wipe out cities. They're gonna hit towns. They're gonna do stuff. And these are just all humans doing this. Don't believe it. I refuse to believe that an alien technology that's so advanced that could come here. Basically, they don't have to leave the comfort of their own home. They could boom tube a damn bomb wherever they want and leave, and you'd never know it.
Pretty much.
They don't need forces on the ground. But what's going to happen is these humans are going to do stupid stuff. They're going to blame aliens. And if I understand it correctly, the aliens are going to finally wind up showing up for real and going, that's not us. This is us. That was the people that are in charge of you that you keep following, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you're going to see some justice made out. That's when you're going to see some justice because a whole lot of people are going to look around and go, oh, you wait there. We got a little business to take care of. But wait, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And that's when it's going to get real bad for a whole lot of people that thought they were untouchable.
See, one of the things that
that's my opinion. I could be completely wrong.
I think you're very, very close to hitting it. I think Stephen Greer is very, very right, right there with it.
Yeah.
One of the things that got me from the hearing was I can't remember the commander's name, retired Navy commander. It was had mentioned how they have the capability to shut our equipment off, shut our weapons down, and do all of that, and that is scary. But it could also save us. So and that's just it. We're going to, the government. I am convinced the world government, not just the U.S.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the people you don't know exist.
Exactly. As I hate to say shadow government, but there you go. Anyway,
we have the Klaus Schwabs of the world that are putting little skinny cats. That's not the guy running shit. Yeah, that's not the shit. That's not the guy running shit. The guy running shit is his boss.
You'll never see. Yeah,
you'll never see him. You'll never see these people.
But I forget where I was even going with it. But it's one. No, that's okay. I'm easily derailed.
The people that were running the world.
Yeah, they want us to think that the aliens are the enemy and they're going to protect us. And this is the stuff that's, while the defense contractors and the military industrial complex just gets richer and richer and richer, and and it's just a cycle. Yeah. So that being said,
like you said, they've already proven they can shut down whatever they want whenever they want.
Yeah. There was something in this episode last night when I finally watched episode 13. Since I have to wait, we have to wait a day because I don't have cable. That I found very interesting. And I'm going to skip all over the show just a bit because honestly, not a lot happens in this episode, except a lot of malfunctions. And near the end, when they're showing some footage, they show a series of like a long string that changes shape and goes into orbs that are moving. Now, in the 90s, my wife had seen over Okaloosa Island in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Had seen something very similar. She came home, described it to me, and I always remember hearing this story about these three balls that changed shape and took off. Now, what got my attention from that is this commander at the hearings had talked about the same thing, about the spheres and changing shapes. And that was not the commander. I'm sorry. It was I'm referring to when Matt Gaetz was speaking about going to Eglin and the stuff they saw, that he saw something similar on radar do the same thing because the reports he had were very similar. And this was at Eglin Air Force Base right here in Fort Walton Beach. So it's like back in the 90s, we've got sightings. This area is a hotbed of UFO sightings, probably for a reason.
Well, remember out in Destin and Fort Walton, where my wife used to live, back when we were dating, they had the big UFO scare. I mean, people were taking photographs of these things. They were huge. And years later, everybody was debunking and trying to debunk it. I mean, you had neighborhoods taking pictures of these things. And suddenly, a few years ago, somebody found, like, in one of the old houses that somebody moved from, models. They found models. These are the models of it's all BS. These models, but the models are only like 3 foot high. And I'm like, those things that they were taking pictures of were like 20 feet tall at least, 100 feet long, wide, whatever, lights all over them. And they're trying to make these models out that this is what everybody saw. And this is the guy. The guy even admitted that he did debunked it, but evidently the guy's dead. I think the person that they were trying to blame it on,
I think so,
has since died.
Of course.
And I'm
very
like,
convenient.
You know what? At the time I was watching that as it was happening, I wasn't there personally, but it did happen not too far from where she lived. You could drive to that neighborhood and see the broken tree limbs and shit where these things come down, and it's not what they were telling you was bullshit. What really happened was something landed. I don't know what it was, but it did it for like a week or so. With that said, like you said, your wife had seen stuff out near Anglin. When I lived out in Panama City, I was
by another base.
I think I told you this, but this wasn't in the base. This is in the Gulf of Mexico. We'd stay out drinking and stuff every once in a while. And this is long before AI or anything, it was all sci-fi at that point. But I remember being out on the pier late at night, all sobered up, no big deal. And looking out at the water, and you would see these lights fly out of the water. Out
I've heard
of the water or into the water. And they weren't like all the way out to the horizon line. It's not like you could misplace anything. It wasn't a star. These things are flying out of the water. They come up a certain height and then they cut straight across one way or the other. And I remember telling my friends this, like, there's stuff out there. Have you guys not seen these orbs coming out of the water? Like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Like, stay out here until about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I finally got a couple of my friends to stay up with me that late because they all thought I was bullshit. And I was like, dude, this thing happens every night we're out here when when I'm out here and I see this stuff. We all hung out. They're all like, oh, we're going to start drinking if we don't see anything. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you guys, watch. Sure as shit, almost to the minute, about 2 o'clock in the morning, these things come shooting out of the water, going in different directions. And there'd be like 3 or 4 of them come out, like boom, and a minute later, boom, another bit, and then you'd see something come way, way, way up in the sky, straight down into the water. And I'd look at them and I'd be like, what do you think that is? And I had one guy just look at me and goes, that's aliens. And everybody else was just like, oh, wow, well, that's crazy. Let's go drink, And the other guy was like, that's aliens. That's not normal. It's like, yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
but it was probably a good, I don't know how many miles offshore, but that was at the old pier. I don't know where the new pier
Mhm.
is, so I don't know if you'd be able to, because you could
Oh,
literally look straight off the pier into the water.
and that's just it. We've built such a culture. One of the things that was asked in the hearings was how far back do we have information about crashes and retrieval? And he
Right.
had, I think, as Gorsh had said, 1930s. That's before
Yeah.
Roswell.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's about the
Yeah,
time they started playing with nuclear energy.
and look at how technology boomed,
Hmm.
boomed,
Yep.
and then stopped. Just saying.
And yeah, but
It's
did it really
interesting.
stop, or did they
It
just
didn't
stop
stop, but
giving us the technology?
I think we're not getting the technology. This is what kills me, because either any way you take this, it's bad. It's not
Right.
good. There's no good out of them keeping any of this info from us. This is technology that could possibly, let's just say, it could make, it is all power. We could have peace on Earth. Well, we could try. We could at least solve some problems and
You'd
make
have a
things
lot more
somewhat
peace
better.
on Earth if everybody could eat and not have to worry about
I
invading
was
another
going.
country.
That's what I was
If
getting
you
to, the
were a
hunger and
small,
resources.
if you were a small country and you didn't have to worry about getting invaded, imagine what you could do. If you were
A
a big
lot.
country and didn't have to worry about invading anybody, imagine
Yeah.
what you could do.
Yeah. Talking to you, the U.S. Anyway.
How many farms in this country have been wiped out? How many food plants have been wiped out
It's
in the
by
last
design.
4 years? In the last
Yeah.
4 years, how many
Yeah.
planes just magically crashed into a freaking food processing plant? Planes crashing. Where do they crash? Into a food processing plant. Think there's
Trains.
last count? Yeah. How many trains have derailed in the only drinkable water, the main drinking supply water?
Going to get people desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're easily controlled.
You have to force them to want. And guess what? Eventually, you're going to have a whole lot of people wanting, but you're going to have a whole lot of people that are pissed.
Yeah, and I hope we can get
All
more
I'm
pissed
saying,
people.
world governments, you're going to have a whole lot of pissed off people, and
Yeah,
eventually, your soldiers aren't going to be able to protect you. That's just
no,
a guess on my part.
and it what they're doing works, because since this time, even all the way back to the Roswell, it's just weather balloons, and they've just obfuscate and lie and lie and lie, and they've told these lies so many times that nobody believes. We could show, you could have a 100% legitimate alien autopsy on TV, and people would still be convinced it was completely fake. And even though it would be real, they could land and people aren't going to believe it. I believe we have been dumbed down to a level that, oh my God, it's scary. I don't think we're going to make it,
Dave. Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
I don't know. I just want them to come take me and my loved ones away from here.
Can I just go with the alien? I just want to go hang out with the alien.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
I'm a pretty mellow guy, honestly. I mean, just don't.
Yeah.
I'll go
just don't probe me.
I don't want to be probed. Not even
So
by
speaking of probes, let's get to Skinwalker Ranch now that that's out of the way. Episode 13.
I thought we were talking about Skinwalker. Okay.
We started to, and then back and forth. But
sorry.
Skinwalker Ranch now with more rockets.
That didn't work.
And drones that didn't work once again. A pattern.
Speaking of patterns, those drones look like they were making a pattern.
They did.
Those drones look like they were trying to say something. In those drones, I think there was a message. I don't know what the message was. I'm not smart enough. But Kat and I were both talking about that last night, like the way they were moving. Do you remember in The Matrix how the screen would have all that stuff going on? When you're looking at those drones and they start dropping down, I was just wondering if you could put something in Braille writing on paper and tell what they were saying. So if anybody's really good at computers and figuring this kind of thing out, it just looked like a pattern of some sort. It looked like they were trying to communicate. To me, that's what I was getting.
I want to add to that, because at one point, this is really funny. Travis is laying on the ground staring at him.
Right.
You know, go for rockets. Right. But he's watching them. And when they showed that camera view, you're right. It was actually really cool to see.
Yeah.
And especially when they panned out and you could see it was like a big Borg cube.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Why
like,
a board cube, guys? Oh,
which
okay.
Also in the congressional hearings, they talked about a 300-yard size cube. Yeah. Anyway, back to Skinwalker. They also mentioned interdimensional beings in the hearings because this is the only way this works with what we know now.
Which talks about the Chinooks. It explains the Chinooks coming in.
Yeah.
From last episode.
Yeah. Yes. But if there really is a wormhole there, which it's really starting to look like there's some sort of portal, some sort of doorway.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah. They just got to figure out how to open it. And it might be the 1.6 gigahertz.
Let's just get Miku Kachu out there. Please, for the love of God, get Miku Kachu out there before you guys flip any switches. I think he's probably the most sane guy out of everybody who's going to look at everything from a different angle and probably slap Travis on the wrist and say, no, don't throw that switch yet until we know a little bit more. Which I do want to see what's out there. I do want to see, but do you really want that thing to open up and have something that looks like the Avengers movie? Remember the big holes were open in those things? I don't want that. Not even in Utah, I don't want that. I mean, granted, there's nothing really around there. I mean, there's some kind of town further off, but you still don't want that. Come on.
No.
Make sure none of that's going to come through first.
And how do we know?
Exactly.
You don't. And it's going to be one of those things. It's well, here's my weird hippie new age brain thoughts right here. Okay. So Dr. Stephen Greer talks a lot about Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind and claims to be able to make communication through meditation, which is absolutely believable that you can communicate through those vibrations and those planes of existence.
And if they're telepathic, yes.
Yes, which they probably are.
Right.
So why don't we get a group of channelers, mediums, sensitives, psychics, and camp them out right there on the mesa?
And see make them the known psychics, like these psychic investigators that have helped solve crimes.
Yes.
There was a couple of women that solved a lot of crimes up in Jersey. Get the mediums that you know are actual mediums,
real
not
legit
the mediums, not the ones that are like, that'll be $20, please. You want to get
the CIA knows who to bring. Trust me.
I don't want their people.
I know, but I'm just saying, our own government believes in psychics. They do it all the time. So I guess I said that to say there's legit people that could go out there and could try and make contact. I think it would be interesting to see.
If you get a couple of sensitives out there, which I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. That you make a really good point.
I volunteer. I'm just saying, I'm available. I'll go.
And I'll hold his luggage. I'm not a sensitive that I'm aware of.
You will be after this trip, Dave.
Run away, Dave. Why are you running? Yeah, I'll be playing the part of Donnie Jones today.
Run away.
Run away. But it's a legitimate question. Why haven't they taken sensitives out there? Or have they and they just don't tell you?
We don't know.
Because they feel something and they've communicated.
Well, you have brought up multiple times the rabbi. And then we had the Blazing
Circle.
Bear drum group come out and get reactions and get things happen. So that tells me we can continue to use science. And I think the Skinwalker team is starting to blend science and
rather nicely.
Parascience, I guess, is the best way to put it, together.
Old religion.
Sure. Absolutely.
I would call it old religion. Yeah. Because the rabbi's religion is thousands of years old.
Oh my God,
older. The Blazing Bear, Running Bears.
Yeah, so those are thousands and thousands of years old.
Thousands of years old. I mean,
so ancient religions are
stuff that's been there. Why not go out and get some of the monks from like a Buddhist monk temple and have them go out there and chant? Or just find one of your DVDs or your CDs and play it and just see what happens. go do a Gregorian chant, play one of your CDs, see what happens. The worst thing that's going to happen is nothing.
Yep. Oh,
The
something's
best
going to
thing that's
happen.
going to happen is something like what happened with the rabbi or with the blazing bear. Something will move. Something will come out and go, hey, what's going on? And if that's the case, if something like that did happen, you would know that it's the volume, it's the timbre, it's the religious
Or
aspect
it's
that
the
it's answering
frequency
to.
of the chant, of the
Yeah,
drums. There's
give me
so
a little
much
bit more to
there.
go on.
Yeah, I love the idea of blending all of it together because it can have a place. And I always go back to, magic is just science we don't understand yet. So it's, there's an explanation for everything. So it's pretty cool. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
I didn't know what I was going to say.
I was just going to talk about the rockets a little bit more.
Yes, let's talk the rockets.
All the rockets, they were shooting 6 rockets off at once at one point, and they're all supposed to go off at the same time. Like all 6 are supposed to launch at the exact same time. Nope. One here, one there, and they were all going off, of course, in different directions. The one rocket looked like it pinged off of something. The guy even said, right? It looks like it hit something.
Yeah, it just went up and took off.
Yeah, you're watching it, it just goes up, and all of a sudden it's off. They were shooting off the rockets. They were using the drones. Like I said, I think if somebody could get in there with some kind of 3D instrument, they could get those drones where they were at and see if there's any correlation to like a Braille writing or perhaps the old Maya symbolism. See if there's, I don't know, but there's something there. My mind is telling me that's a shape of something. I don't know what. But the one that really got me was at the very end. And my wife just looked over at me, and that's right when I texted you was, ain't that some shit? Do you know which one I'm talking about, that last rocket?
Go ahead and refresh my memory because I watched 3 episodes last night because Janine needed to catch up.
Last night, last rocket. It's like I forgot how many feet rocket this thing was supposed to be.
The one that disappeared? Yes. I got a question about that.
And Mach 1, Mach 2
this is where I'm having problems with this. I'm racking my brain and I've yet to Google it. Do we not get a sonic boom if anything breaks the sound barrier?
Well, that's one question. The other question is
where'd it go?
Where the fuck did it go? Because they're watching it. You can watch that thing and then all of a sudden it's just gone.
It's just gone.
You can see the smoke trail. You can see the flame. It's just gone. And they're tracking it to one point. Like it's on their system. And then they're like, well, it gets here and it's gone. What do you mean it's gone? It's not here. See? It's not here.
Well, we will find out next week where it went.
And again, they didn't do a tie-in or anything for next week's episode. So I don't know if they're going to have the wrap up. I don't know if it's going to be a full episode. I don't know what's going on for next week.
Yeah. I don't know.
They left it with to be continued.
Yeah, and it's on purpose. This has been a good season. It really started off slow, and I was really disappointed.
Thank you, Dragon.
Yeah, I'm glad I stuck with it. As you and I talk about, we know we're going to get a very sanitized version of whatever's found.
Right.
There is going to come a point in this world, not just this country, because we're not the only place that exists. We're not the only place with UAPs.
Right.
Somebody is going to break this, and it's going to be so damn convincing that there's going to be a shift, and it's got to happen.
It just seems like now, this is my turn to sound like a hippie. It just seems like there's so much stress right now on containing and controlling humanity. Not just in this country, but up in Canada,
the world.
Mexico doesn't seem to have this problem. Mexico,
they got other problems
maybe
right
I'm
now.
wrong. They have other problems, but it doesn't seem like their government is trying to contain them. And you know what I mean?
I do.
South American countries do that, but then again, look what has been running those South American countries since the 30s. Nazis. Just gonna say it. But it just seems like worldwide, especially in the Western countries, the need to control and force and contain everyone and keep everyone from thinking has gotten to a point where it reminds me of Princess Leia looking at Darth Vader. Here's our reference. And she says, the harder you squeeze your fist or something that the more people will slip through your fingers. And that's what's happening right now. The more every government, they don't understand this. They've never understood it. You just look at, all you have to do is read history. The more they squeeze, the more they try to control, the less likely they will be able to control. It may take 70 years, which is usually the breaking point of any dictatorship. 70, 60, 70 years. China's having big problems right now. They don't admit it. Everybody wants to look at them and say, oh, they're doing great. Look at that. Look at their. Yeah, they're having more riots and more people dissenting right now than they've ever had. Ever since Mao Zedong took over. So everything's going to break. And when it does, I'm just hoping it's a break and everybody's, like you said, the big shift happens and everybody's like, oh my God.
I hope so.
This is this is what we've been hiding from. Okay, we're not going to kill you guys. We're better than that now. Let's just move on and life will be better. I hate to think that it's a big boom and then all of a sudden lots of violence and then we have the time for peace. I just want to be peaceful.
I don't want to see another 9/11. I don't want to see, a lot of people go to 9/11, which was absolutely horrific. I'll never get those images out of my head, but a lot of people point to that as, oh, look how we all came together. And it's true. There was a lot of, and then boom, gone. And it's like, we are so obsessed with money and getting ahead of everybody and being famous and on the internet and all of this stuff that we don't stop and look at, you know what, we could all have great things. I'm very much a hippie in this. We could all have great things and do things if we would work together instead of, and that's a whole nother show, but it is the politicians.
Politicians have figured out how to divide everybody by everything: skin color, skin tone, religious, ethnic, you name it, they'll divide politics. You by it.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening with even that now is the people who are getting really nasty are the people who want to stay divided and want to be a victim. And everybody else is like, no, we're done with that now. We are done with you being a victim now. Get to work. Shut up. Don't care. Go back to work.
And that's why I was
going to take. No. I'm just saying that I think that's going to start taking hold more and more.
I think you're right. And that's why I said earlier, I was happy to see a pretty bipartisan hearing yesterday.
Right.
And that's it's like, great. You guys came together. You're trying to find the truth. I'm good with that. Why don't you do that? Why don't you guys focus on that bullshit instead of getting reelected and trying to get rich and trying to get your buddies rich and everything else? But, I guess I'm asking too much. I know. I wouldn't make a good politician. I'd be broke, but I would try and do the right thing.
Within a week.
Probably.
Because you asked the wrong question.
I'm too much of a hippie. I would.
But speaking of being hippie, and I know it sounds kumbaya-ish, but that's just kind of how
that's not wrong. That's not so bad, though,
man.
It's
not wrong at this point. No. I don't particularly like hippies because I just don't.
All right, Cartman.
There are moments and are aspects of a very peaceful movement, and that I can absolutely get behind.
I think we all can.
And exactly. And I think that what happens is people get, again, too divided, and you can't stay divided. Our planet's not that big, and something's going on bigger than anybody can see. You know, and this, even with Skinwalker Ranch, it kind of proves it. It kind of proves that something big is going on, and some people might not want you to know, and some people might not care. Some people that we think would want to keep it quiet might not even care. Might just be like, fine, do whatever you want to do. Don't care. And then other people that you wouldn't think are the opposite. They want to stop you from doing it. People that you wouldn't think would want to stop you.
And it's very disheartening when you see that there's such a concerted effort to suppress and to suppress the information, to suppress the people, so people can be in power. And it's like, man, you guys are missing the meaning of life. You're missing all of this. And it's like, it's will you hurry up and evolve? Because I would like to live on a nice planet.
I want the Star Trek planet. I want the Star
We
Trek
all
planet where
do.
I go to the transporter unit and I get transported to France and I walk around there in France for a day and then I transport my ass back home to Florida.
I'm going to
That's what
propose
I
something.
want.
And this is going to this is crazy, but I 100% believe we could have Star Trek right now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. The people in power don't want it, and the people like us and down below are being hammered with so much misinformation, disinformation, obfuscation. The media just pushing a narrative and keeping you divided. Oh, you like so and so for president. You like so and so. Let's fight. It's like, what? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like, but that's
how
they
about you
thrive
just lower
on it.
my food prices and lower my damn taxes? And hey, that's a whole other subject. But basically, you're right. Everybody's just like, hey, leave me alone. Just you know what, world governments, just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
Let us go make things better for everybody. Not for profit, but for people. But hey, that's crazy talk. Crazy talk.
But like the Skinwalker Ranch thing is really proven that there's a lot of people interested in this. That like a lot of people are looking at this for right reasons or wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Fugel's reason. I'm assuming that he is a tech guy. He wants the tech. Yeah. And if he can make a business deal with some alien from another dimension or another world, he'll make that deal. Which is fine. I don't mind anybody making money. I mind evil people making money, but other than that, make as much money as you want. I don't care. Do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt anybody. The Secret is very big on that. There's a show called The Secret, and it's very much like you said. There's enough for everybody. There's reason there's enough for everybody is not everybody wants the same thing. Yeah, and it's when that clicked in my head, I was like, "Holy crap! Yeah, I don't want the same thing as you. You don't want the same thing as me. We may have similar interests and a similar path, but we don't necessarily want the exact same thing."
Right.
And that's what a lot of folks don't understand. That a lot of folks get caught up in the I want. And the good thing that keeps me open with the Skinwalker show is there is a lot out there that I don't know, that I don't understand. I'll never understand. But like I said, I think everything is being so compacted and tried to be controlled that it's going to go. It's going to go up in smoke. And a lot of people who think they have all the power in the world are going to find out they got none, because somebody's just not going to put up with it anymore. Who? I don't know. You just look at history and you see how it happens to dictators.
It happens.
And it never ends well for any of them. It never does.
All I'm gonna say is before y'all destroy the world, at least wait 50 more years. Let me get out of here first.
At least another 50.
At least another 50. Let me be sure I'm dead and gone, because I don't want to go through this shit.
Let me be dead at least 10 years.
Yeah. I don't care. Let me be dead at least a day. I don't want to deal with it. It's like hell.
Yeah.
But
I just want to go on a space tour. I just want to be on like the Enterprise, going warp speed, looking around. This is cool. That's all I want. That's not much to ask for.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And we could get there as a people. Mm-hmm. We've come too far as a people to let this bullshit.
We've come too far as a people.
Yeah. But yes, this has been a good season. This was a good episode. The rocket disappearing at the end, the craft that changed shape, really cool stuff. Yeah. So, and like you had said, this show shows that there is something there. Even if they never show us beyond the veil, show us an actual working portal, show us an alien. They have shown enough in these past couple episodes that should make most people a believer. I mean, unless they're going to say, oh, it's all doctored video. Well, okay, then I can't convince you of anything. So moving on to the next,
And normally I would say, yeah, you're probably right. Could be doctored. But the problem is this stuff has been happening out in that region for years, for centuries.
Yeah. It happens. UAPs happen so much. They mentioned in the hearing that the military has to have briefings daily and develop new procedures to deal with all the UAPs in their training exercises.
I just like how they keep changing the name from flying saucer to UFO to now it's UAP. And it's like, It's a UFO. It's still a UFO. I'm going to still
It still
call it a
is.
UFO.
It still is. But I think by using UAP, it gives a level of depth to it because unidentified aerial phenomena, meaning it could be, I don't know. So yeah, I get it. I didn't. UFO works for me. Always will. You know.
So I just think it's funny how they try to change the language to take away its meaning. You know, when you say UAP, most people looked around for the longest time, like, what the hell are they talking about?
I know I did.
Oh, they're talking about UFOs.
Huh? Okay, UFOs.
Got it. UFO. It's a UFO. Call it what it is. It's a UFO.
What's interesting now, if there wasn't a writer's strike, would we all of a sudden start seeing a bunch of alien invasion movies coming? Hollywood's already cranked out quite a few recently.
Well, that's what they want you to think all aliens are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what's funny is they're probably more resembling freaking On Home. That guy more so than anything
they might.
else. You know?
Who knows? Probably, who knows what? We need to be prepared.
And if there are mean ones, you know what? Who was it? Was it Roosevelt that said carry a big stick?
Speak softly and carry a big stick. Was it Teddy?
It was Teddy. Speak softly, but carry a big stick. And that's how I think you have to look at aliens or other creatures from other universes. Mm-hmm. Be prepared for peace. Be absolutely 100% open to peace, but have a gun on your hip just in case everything goes south.
We have no idea.
Exactly.
It's clear the ones who have crashed here don't have a prime directive because they have not retrieved their craft.
Or maybe they have.
Maybe they have. I don't know.
You know, but maybe they just came down here and said, no, we want our craft and our bodies back. Well, you can't have them.
Yeah, we can. Maybe you're right.
Them.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
You know, how many people got vaporized whenever somebody said you can't have them? You know, 40 guys just got wiped out and the alien's just standing there and he hasn't moved.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to try that again? Oh no, here's your ship. Sorry,
take it.
Just didn't understand what you were capable of.
Yeah.
Who knows? But if we do have alien craft, it's not our doing. It's not us. I refuse to believe it's us. Anything that we had to do with us, like shooting them down or taking them.
Oh yeah, no, something happened.
Something else happened, or they're giving them to us, hoping that we would look at this technology and go, we were going to share this with the world. And
no, we're going to make a bomb.
Yeah, 50, 60 years later, they're all scratching their head going, seriously? We gave you all this. We basically opened up the universe to you guys. And
you
all you
win
can
for
see,
profit.
Yeah, and all you can
we're
see
Ferengi.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, yes. Humans are the Ferengi of the universe.
Oh, my God.
We really are. We really are. It's so sad. Only we're not as funny.
No, or as smart.
Or as smart. Pull off some of those business deals.
Oh, man. But yeah, folks, that's pretty much it. Lots of excitement this week happening. Skinwalker to be continued. Where is the rocket? Will Travis shoot another rocket? Will they get a flamethrower? I don't know. But damn, I love this show.
Yeah. I'm here till the end. I'm here until it stops.
I do want to take a second to give a shout out, and I'm sorry I don't remember everybody's name, but thank you for those who have commented. To answer the question, no, I have not personally got the Skinwalker Insider package yet. It's a monthly thing that you can see behind the scenes and look at live camera feeds. Yeah. Sounds interesting. I may check it out. I hate spending money. So,
especially now. No,
especially now. Absolutely. So thank you so much, folks. Thanks for taking the time to drop some kind comments. We love you too. And hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. And we will catch you next week with what hopes to be a awesome Skinwalker show.
And maybe we'll stay talking about the show more than everything else. But everything else ties into the show.
It absolutely ties into the show. So we will see you next week. And thanks again, folks.